From LALATE headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Afternoons LALATE.
It's a big afternoon of Afternoons LA with incredible great news about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021. In this recording, we're going to go over that monthly stimulus checks and why the Democrats are likely to beef up your fourth stimulus check. Then we go to the incredible great details about that fourth stimulus recon going for a vote on Monday. I'll be going over all the incredible great news and what's going to be decided in just one business day. Then we cut to all the items of those checks. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to you into the fourth stimulus recon. I'll be detailing them in the final 15 minutes of this video. Stay to the very end. And then we cut to the big money across the board that come in under fifth stimulus and the big money that viewers are pouncing every day. It's not 5,000, it's not 10,000, it's a lot of money. And as we go into a big day, we're going to have all those details and more as the excitement unravels and the excitement ensues on a big new Afternoons LALATE starting right now. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming out to the American people under what's called the fourth stimulus recon. It's the single biggest payout we've ever seen in the history of the channel, and it's all checks for you. We're going to be learning about all these checks that are guaranteed under the fourth stimulus recon because all the Democrats have all the votes. And also, we'll be going over those stimulus checks on top of that. But first, good morning and good afternoon and good evening, depending on where you're tuning in from. And this is LALATE. Hope you're having a beautiful day across the board. How's the weather where you are? It's cool and breezy and a little bit damp because there's a little bit of moisture, a little bit of rain here in Southern California. It never rains here. Someone sent me some rain. Well, thank you. Jump on the live chat and tell me where you're tuning in from. In this recording, we'll go over that monthly stimulus check and why the Democrats are likely to give you more months of checks. Then we cut to the recon. Done deal. $3.5 trillion of checks, in addition to stimulus checks, are coming to you, mostly application-based, in the fourth stimulus recon. If you've been with me since day one and gotten PUA or EIDL or EBT or SNAP or any of these items, you're going to be ecstatic. I'm ecstatic for you. Then in the final 15 minutes of this video, we cut to the big money across the board that viewers are ready to pounce on because on Monday, the voting started on the recon. And guess what? The House members are not leaving. Oh boy. And then we cut to the big money that viewers can get and you can get as well, as Mark got over $55,000 and Lorraine got over $100,000. I'm going to show you how to get this big sum of money. And this is LALATE, America's only 24-hour day, 7 days a week financial news channel in America, live in the morning and then taped to the afternoons. Coming up next is Afternoons LALATE's 3 o'clock show, and then Evenings LALATE. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. If you've not heard, the YouTube alert system for members is still down. It's been down since Wednesday. So it's important for you to pull out a pen and paper and write down the programming schedule if you don't know it already by heart, so you don't miss a single recording across the board. The afternoon shows are at 1 o'clock and then 3 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. So if you're watching this as a replay, then you're watching it at 1 o'clock. But if you're watching it new, you're watching it today at 3 o'clock. Then at 5 o'clock is Evenings LA. That's the big, massive final update of the day. Brand new programming across the board. Then I'm back with you later this evening with overnights programming, which is at 7, then at 8. And then we go into overnights. Then we have Sirloin at 8 o'clock, overnights at 9, and then Purple. Meantime, tomorrow morning, I'm back with you with the exciting details of overnights at 3 a.m., street and stimulus at 3:30, early mornings LATE at 4 a.m., mornings LATE at 9 a.m. live on air, crypto live on air at 9:45, and noontime at 11 a.m. And away we go. Let's get into those monthly stimulus checks, House versus Senate, Senate versus House. A lot of people want to give it to you, and we're learning more about those people right now. Warren, Sanders, and Wyden want you to have a monthly stimulus check. They detail it in a recent letter to the president. Price tag unknown, but they say it's monthly. Then, over on the House side, Democrats, AOC, and Omar writing the president a letter as well, saying monthly stimulus check is needed. Their price tag, $2,000 a month. Over on the House as well, House Ways and Means Subcommittee writing the president a letter saying it has to be fourth stimulus checks monthly, also reoccurring, but does not give a price tag. Meantime, they also ask for a fifth stimulus check next year. The Americans petition, which is citizens asking for a $2,000 stimulus check monthly, 3.8 million signatures across the board. The number's growing daily. And then finally, the House bill. $2,000 the first month, $1,000 thereafter, a monthly pandemic plus 1 year stimulus check. If you're in the live chat, vote House of Senate right now, and tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. I want to see you voting. Well, here's what's going on is that we ended the week with a lot of financial data signifying that the pandemic is far from over. And if the pandemic's far from over, then the House bill would pay 12 checks, which would be at least $13,000. Who gets this for a stimulus check? Democrats represent that if you're a single individual, you're getting one, $75,000 or less. Democrats represent if you're a married couple, $150,000 or less, you're getting it for a stimulus check. Double it. Family of four, Democrats represent you're getting it for a stimulus check. Quadruple it. And if you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad benefits, Democrats represent, you're getting a fourth stimulus check. The fourth stimulus check is not income. It's not taxable. And the fourth stimulus check will be the same amount for everyone across the board. Finally, if you're at the beach and you see the check on the pier, do not wave at the check because the check is not a waveable check. And if it doesn't wave back at you, it's not a rude check. It just missed you on the droid. It just missed you on the aerial camera. Hey, check, I'm recording you. I don't see you. Your camera's moving too fast. In the second half of this video, we cut to the big details of the $3.5 trillion recon. Done deal. I'll explain to you why it's a done deal and why this is the biggest payout we've ever seen in the history of this channel and why this is so exciting for you. Yes, there's a push underway to get those stimulus checks included, but when we talk about the big sums of money, which you've been on this channel for a while, you've seen people like Lorraine who have gotten $105,000. And now you're seeing that fourth stimulus will have the big money of application based generally. Whether you've been with this channel through EIDO or PUA or PPP or PEBT, you're going to see how this is the biggest sum of money. Then we cut to the voting process. Yes, they're back in session on Monday. I'll go over all this incredible great news. And then we cut to fifth stimulus. But first, let's get some money, get a pen and paper ready. It's your day to get this money. We're going to get some rent, some utilities, some food, some internet, and mortgage assistance. We're going to start with some rent. When I talk about a rent initially, I say, hey, maybe it was $5,000, maybe 4 to 6 months of rent. Well, viewers are getting a lot more money. Are you ready for this deliciousness? Bam. Wow. Elizabeth, Purple Hawk, getting $27,000 as a Purple Hawk for rent. Mark, Purple Hawk, getting $25,000 for rent. Nancy, $24,000. Richard, $22,000. And Nisi, $20,000. I had asked viewers to send me messages of anything that they've had a success story over the last few days, overnight. This came in. Johnny getting $12,000 for Snap. Kathy getting $13,000 for rent and also water and also Snap. Helen getting rent, electric, and water. And then the new ones coming in, including the success story of Sharon, $2,700 for Snap, and Lainey, $13,000 for rent. When we talk about utilities, massive sums of money, and recently Cecilia reveals to us she got over $1,200 for a heap. That's a heap. How much? boy, look at these utilities that viewers are getting. Nancy getting $7,000 for utilities. Mark, $6,500 for utilities. And Angela, $5,000 for utilities. The numbers keep on coming in. We have Pamela getting $12,000 for rent. We have Carla getting money. Tiffany getting rent, $13,000. Randy, $6,000. Jennifer, $5,000. And ready for some Snap? Bam. Whoa. Louie getting $18,000 for Snap. This is money for food. Very easy to get. John, $10,000 to $12,000. Nancy, $5,000. And you're ready for the combo? The people who have gotten 3 items or more, let's hear the drum roll. Bam. Oh my goodness. Great job, Nancy. $32,000 for Nancy for 3 items. Nisi, $23,000 for 3 items. And Mark, $32,000 for 2 items. How did you get on my graphic, Mark? That's a graphic for 3 items. I'll tell you what happened. Mark got 2 items at $32,000, and for 5 days on camera, I said to Mark, "Go get Snap. You're missing the number 3 item, the 3rd item, Snap. It's a Snap to get it. That's why they call it Snap. Pick up the phone and call Department of Agriculture," and he did. Within less than 5 days, he got the money. But why I bring this up is very important is because he got the money so quickly. It's very easy to get this stuff. The second one is that he told his neighbor, "Hey, watch this kid, LALATE, he's the real deal." And that neighbor went from no money to getting $20,000 of rent paid for in just a few days, less than 5 days. So it shows you the speed in which you can get this big money. It's third stimulus. And how much did he get, Mark, for Snap? $19,000, bringing his grand total to $50,500. And if you think that's the ceiling, well, congratulations to Lorraine, getting $105,640. And this is what we do because this is LALATE. We've been doing this on LALATE since day one. When people had applied for that EID loan, they were not approved, and they had to get help with getting their applications out of stall mode into approval mode. I called it the vortex. 330, 331, 48 applicants who are stuck and their applications were not getting approved. If you remember that and you're an OG viewer, jump a live chat. Well, I got viewers approved. Upwards of 10 applications a day at $150,000 a pop. $25 million of EID loans were approved because of my work on camera and off camera. And then in fall of 2020, second stimulus was not coming. Just like right now when we're waiting for fourth stimulus, it was not coming. So I said, I have other money for you to get, rent. And I got viewers $250,000 of rent. Like Tyrone and his family, 4 out of Boston, getting $15,000, paying all their rent to the new spring. But now you're doing it better and bigger than ever before. And you see these viewers, you're just killing it. Purple Hawks are killing on this channel because you realize that fourth stimulus is not coming this week. It wasn't coming last week, but there's fortunes for you to get under third stimulus. Not $100, not $5,000, not $10,000, but in some cases $30,000 or $50,000 or $100,000. Today is your day to get that big money, and we're going to go get it right now. We're going to get some rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, homeowner assistance, and utility assistance. Get a pen and paper ready. First, here's some introductory remarks. Number 1, I'm going to show you 6 places to get the money from. So do not reach out to one and stop. You may call your city and then stop. And guess what? A lot of cities are sort of small. They don't have a lot of the money. It's up higher. I'm going to show you where else. So if you call one and they say no, don't stop, because if one says no, the next one may say yes. Number 2, they all have different eligibility. So one may say no because of this, and the next one will say yes for the different reason. So keep on pushing. Number 3, they have their own pot of money. Number 4, every state has money. Every state was given the same ratio of money based upon the number of citizens they have nationally. So one state that may be smaller got the same amount of money as a bigger state. They just gave the same amount based upon the number of residents that are in the state. So if it's not in your city or county, it may be at the state level. Also, don't include eligibility requirements in your mind that simply are untrue. They don't give money to people who stand in front of surfboards. Untrue. And finally, listen to the keywords I'm about to mention. Are you ready? Here we go. We're going to reach out your city hall, your city house authority, your county hall, your county house authority, your state hall, your state house authority. And the keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID, or mortgage or utility assistance because of COVID. You don't say words they don't know, like stimulus, or Mitch's wonderful lobster ice cream. Oh, they don't know that. And they will certainly hang up the phone if they hear that. I would run and get some water and clean my mouth out. It's just awful. And there you go. If you got money for rent or utilities, post in the live chat right now. We're next cutting to Snap. Louis got $18,000. Mark got $19,000. John 10 to 12,000. Lynn Glenn got it for herself and her son and mom. What is SNAP? It's money for food. Where do you get it? Department of Agriculture. Eligibility is easier than a stimulus check, so why would you not get it? How much does it pay? It pays a lot. A family of four out of Hawaii gets upwards of $16,000 a year because of 2 executive orders. But if you heard the news live on air this last Monday, the incredible great news is that SNAP benefits are going up because of the President of the United States calling up the Department of Agriculture and saying, my executive order is ending in September. You need to do more and pay more lifetime. This is the new breaking news. The breaking news is that everyone, repeat, everyone's SNAP benefits nationwide are going up. How much? An average of 25% lifetime automatically starting in October. Oh my goodness, incredible, great news. So if you've had success stories for SNAP, post in the live chat right now, we now turn to those return of those unemployment benefits due to computer error from your state, where they land you direct deposit, otherwise in the mail. Contact your state to track the routing time. One viewer got $3,000 for this, another viewer got $5,000. And the last part of the money is the refund check coming back from the federal government that you paid taxes on for that 2020 tax return. One viewer sent me a very nice message overnight, said they got almost $2,800, almost $3,000. Yes, the amount can change. It's a waivable check. The average check is about $1,200 to $1,400, but it could be more based upon how much you paid. Margaret got a, Cod got a, Michael got a. More about that in a second. But first, here's a personal message. The spirit of this channel has always been me helping you get money, and it is also you helping others get money. Whether you're in a live chat and you're saying, I'm also in your state, and I got rent here if you're having problems finding the rent. Here it is over here. But as Purple Hawks, it's important for you to pounce and also be helpful to other people. So if you have a success story for rent, utilities, or food, or internet, post it in the live chat right now, because when you do, you help other people. 3 different ways. Number 1, they realize that suddenly the monies are a lot more than we originally thought. Who would have thought that rent is not just a few $100s? It's $27,000. Who would have thought that utilities was this type of sum of money? Then a lot of people never heard of SNAP till they found this channel. They absolutely didn't hear about it. Larry Maui is now getting $500 a month lifetime because of my recordings. And then a lot of people never understood the importance of getting 3 items. Art Sullivan and Nisi inspired us to get 3 items. They got 3, and now we're all getting 3. And then finally, the importance is that the numbers are going bigger and bolder than we ever thought before. Viewers getting $55,000, $100,000. Yes, Mark's SNAP of $19,000 is now worth about $25,000 annualized. So pick up the finger and go to that keyboard and post your success stories in the live chat right now. And let's continue with those unemployment benefits. Where they landing, direct deposit. Otherwise, in the mail. Can you track it? Yeah, go to irs.gov and do a transcript search. And 70% of the time it'll work. It'll reveal the taxes you paid and the tax return you filed. And there you go. It'll also reveal the refund check you're getting. And can we top that? We can. As we go into the second part of your 4th stimulus check update of 2021, it's starting right now. Deal done. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to you under the 4th stimulus recon. Now, this is in addition to the push to get stimulus checks in there. The Democrats have confirmed a lot of things about this recon. And how can I say deal done when it's not law yet? Let me explain. Number 1, you're going to see in just a second that the $3.5 trillion price tag has already been agreed upon. Number 2, the Democrats have already agreed to pass the recon. Number 3, that the recon has to pass because you need the roads and bridges, and the roads and bridges are dependent upon the recon passing. Number 4, everything in that $3.5 trillion is checks for you. It's all checks for you. That's why it's the biggest payout we've ever seen in the history of this channel. First stimulus, this big. Second, third, this big. Fourth, this big. All checks for you. While the previous stimulus packages were mostly for corporations, this is all for you. So it's a big payday. And if you've been with this channel over the last year, you have seen how the biggest paydays are generally application-based. This is in addition to stimulus checks, which are the pushes underway to get those in there additionally. But this 4th stimulus is no different than first to third, which was generally all application-based. So let's go over all the deliciousness as we go into the second half of this recording, starting right now. And let's go to the details. How do we get to the spot? By taking roads and bridges out of the recon, put it into something called the bipartisan roads and bridges. A Republican publication confirms my reporting in an op-ed. The higher the price tag was on the recon before, the harder it was to pass. There you go, confirmation. But by allowing the Democrats to take out some of the spending from the bipartisan roads and bridges, from the recon, roads and bridges, and put it into the bipartisan. It made the overall price tag of the recon smaller. There you go. In other words, the bipartisan deal made the recon passable, and vice versa. Now, here's something you're only going to hear on this channel, is that the Democrats, House and Senate, met with the president day in, day out before doing the recon process and said, let's agree upon a price tag deal, $3.5 trillion. So this coming Monday, they're voting on the price tag, which they already agreed upon almost a month ago. And this is incredible great news because this is all checks for you. This is what Representative Richie Torres and also Representative Ilhan Omar, both Democrats, both progressives, both both in the House, said we have to do. We have to have a larger recon, Torres. And Ilhan Omar says we have to have a recon that goes as far as we want it. You got it, $3.5 trillion, because they had met with the president and agreed upon this price tag. This has all been done weeks ago. And then they had to ensure that they protect the recon through this process. And that's how the recon is now getting to the finish line. The recon is heading to the finish line because the president told them protect the recon because those are all the priorities that are in the recon, says Jalapal. So let's go over what is a recon, what is a bipartisan. Let's go over all the details of it, starting with the separation of the two items, then going over recon procedural and a recon substantive. Here's a sort of side note. I did see these comments a few times percolating yesterday in the comments. People were talking about Afghanistan, maybe they're not going to do the recon because of Afghanistan. No. The Congress has nothing to do with domestic policy. It has nothing to do with foreign policy unless they're sent a bill to determine how to spend money on nuclear weapons and things like that. The Congress is for domestic policy. So that's what they're empowered to do. And they have to do it. If they don't do it, they don't get reelected. I mean, they have to at least look like they're doing something, don't they? Let's go over all the incredible details. So no, whatever's going on in Afghanistan has nothing to do with fourth stimulus recon. All right, let's go over the details of understanding what is a recon and what is a bipartisan. It's pretty simple. There's two paths at issue, recon and bipartisan. Your money is the recon, also called reconciliation, also called the budget bill. $3.5 trillion of checks coming to you guaranteed. And this is also called the Democratic spending plan, the progressive spending plan. Bipartisan, not your money. This is roads and bridges, also called infrastructure. We have three bills to do. We have recon procedural, recon substantive, and then bipartisan. We passed bipartisan and recon procedural in the House, in the Senate just a few days ago. So on Monday, they go for another vote, and that vote is over on the House side. What is it for? It's for recon procedural. So what is recon procedural versus what is recon substantive? It's very easy breezy to understand. Recon procedural is very basic. It only really asks one simple question. How much? And then who gets that money? How much? $3.5 trillion price tag? Yeah, I agree. And then committee number one gets $10 and committee number two gets $20? Yes, I agree. They've already agreed upon this before they started the whole process. So the vote on Monday is very simple. But then they go into recon substantive. Now, this is not to say they start writing it. They've been writing this all along. They just start the voting. And that is where a committee that has now been given $10 determines how to spend the money among different people. How to spend it, where to spend it, and how to do it. More about that later in the final 15 minutes of this video. Stay at the very end as we go over that spending and what that means and what application base means as well. How do we get to this wonderful spot? From Jalapal, who recently wrote Schumer letter saying, Chuck, call the vote on the recon. Well, the vote was called and it passed. Now it's going to the House tomorrow at Monday, and it will pass there as well. Can we top that as well? Oh, and who also signed that letter? 12 House Democrats who are part of the 100 plus who recently wrote the president letter saying we're going to be putting monthly fourth stimulus checks in the fourth stimulus recon. Wow. Can we top that? Yes. As 7 members of that House Ways and Means subcommittee, the same one we just went over? Yes. Recently wrote the president a letter saying we're going to be putting a monthly fourth stimulus checks in the fourth stimulus package. Wow, Purple Power. That is great, great news. They're promising monthly fourth stimulus checks, but you have to have them keep their promise. Can we top that? Yes. Biden did it. 8 weeks ago today, he went overseas and signed something in ceremonial signature, but the real signature happened about a week or two later back in the States. It's for something called the global minimum corporate tax rate. It sounds confusing because it is. And now it doesn't have to be in the recon, making the recon easier to pass, easier to write it, easier to call the vote on the recon, easier to vote on the recon, and easier to pass the recon because this confusing thing is not in there. Can we top that? Yes. As we go into the final 15 minutes of this video, we go over all the incredible great news about that $3.5 trillion vote started on Monday. Why is this so exciting? Because most of the money in this recon is application based. And if you've been with this channel since day one and you've gotten any money from this channel, then you're ready to pounce as a purple hawk. I'll be going over that vote and more. Then we'll be going over the incredible details about the push for those monthly stimulus checks, and then we'll be cutting to fifth stimulus. We'll be going over a little bit about that breaking news about the student loan debt forgiveness and all the other exciting breaking news happening this weekend and what I'm anticipating for next week as well. But first, if you have not gotten any money from this channel, I want you to do it starting today. Why? Because when we look at fourth stimulus, those committees are going to be given all that money, $3.5 trillion. And the committees are going to have your money. And you're going to have to be able to pick up the phone and call and say, I want some of that money. Well, if you've done that before with the electric company, the water company, the gas company, and gotten $100 because of COVID or $200 because of COVID, you are ready to go. You are ready. You've watched my videos and you have the skill set. But if you've never done it at least once, I want you to try right now. So reach out to your city hall, your city house authority, your county hall, your county house authority, and your state hall, your state house authority to try to get rent assistance because of COVID, mortgage assistance, utilities. Contact your utility company as well and say, hey, I need some money because of COVID. And once you have achieved that success, you know you'll be able to pounce under fourth stimulus. After that, if you can't get the other sums of money, don't worry. Reach out to the volunteers. Where are they? In the community page. Go down in the description of this video. Click the link. It'll send you over to the community page. It's news.lalate.com/community. Here's a little bit about them, and I'll be back with you in 60 seconds as the big new Afternoons LA continues with the final 15. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.lalate.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. They're Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals. Reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now as Afternoons LA hits the beach. As we go into the final 15 minutes of this video, a lot of breaking news across the board. We'll be going over that vote on Monday and why that vote is so critical and why it's going to be the biggest payout you've ever seen in the history of this channel. We'll be going over what Steny Hoyer's comments said and why I read a lot more into it because of a particular sentence in there. You're only going to hear this on Afternoons LA. Then we're going to go over the actual sums of checks in there and what are those checks for and why you're going to be excited because this is the biggest payout you've ever seen from the presidency in over a year. Then we cut to fifth stimulus more, and then we go over the big sums of money that people are able to pounce with and get if you are a Purple Hawk, a viewer, or a subscriber. Meantime, the excitement continues, and it heats up right now on a big continuation of Afternoons LA. How are you? There's a little bit of fog and smoke in there. I know it's a sea foam. Wonderful footage. How are you? Make sure you subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Meantime, stay on this video. This video will automatically take you into the next show. It's important to understand that the YouTube alert system is currently down. And there's afternoons LA at 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, then evenings LA at 5 o'clock. And then we go into overnights crypto. I'll be sending alerts on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and being also in the live chat to show you the links to get to the videos. Don't miss a video. We're trying to work around this outage. It's still going on. Well, this stimulus, here we go. We're just days away from the excitement of this stimulus. It's the raising up of your benefits a lifetime that was promised, and it's now happening. The rainbow of help is coming. Let's go over all the details of what this is starting right now. This stimulus raises your benefit limits up, then removes the asset limit, adds an inflationary benchmark, removes the marriage penalty, and removes the income exclusion. This starts in September by drafting, then goes to a vote presumably by November, and then hits your bank account by November by lifting up your benefits thereafter in January. Let's go over all the details starting right now. First, who is this for? You, if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad benefits, Veterans benefits, SSA, or multiple beneficiaries. Step 1 is they'll raise your benefits up. And step 2 is they'll apply a new benchmark. That new benchmark will be inflation. How high is inflation going? It's going to be transitory. That word means it's going to be a temporary spike. When, says Jay Powell? In December. Yes, great news. So how high is that inflation rate going to go? At the moment, I'm predicting about 5%. A lot of Wall Street is expecting that as well, for a temporary spike just around December before it comes back down. Jay Powell's trying to work around that, of course, because the new Fed minutes that were released, he says that maybe we may need some tapering sooner than anticipated. Those Fed minutes were released by Jay Powell this week, suggesting that the tapering may start around that time. Interesting. Let's do the analysis. First, they'll raise your benefits up, then they'll apply a new benchmark. And let's say it's 5%. That means you'll go up another 5%, not just next year, a lifetime. Because once your benefits go up, they never step down. Then they're going to move the asset cap, dating back to a 1980s law that says you can't stay on benefits and have more than $3,000 in hand. Now you have room to have some muddled. Did you call this muddled? No, this is not muddled. You have some room to have purple in your hand and also some stimulus checks. They're going to remove the income cap, dating back to a 1960s law that says you can't work and stay on benefits. And finally, a marriage penalty is going to go away. And love is going to win, and you'll be able to marry your longtime love interest. You'll no longer fear loss of benefits, and you'll be able to get married like Rob and Sandy and do the pair dance at your wedding. Finally, fifth stimulus. Will there be a fifth stimulus check? Yes. Those House Ways and Means subcommittee members represent, they're giving you one in the fifth stimulus. Finally, if you have not become a purple hawk and you notice people in the live chat who are, what are you doing? The link is under the video to join here. It says join here and join right now to become a purple hawk to get these big sums of money under the sky. Purple Hawks are doing bigger sums of money than we ever thought they could. $32,000, $50,000, $100,000. Viewers daily are picking up $1,000 here and $2,000 there for rent, utilities, food, internet, because they're learning from me. Daily from the YouTube page, the community page, I deliver to members a breakdown of all the big money under first, second, third stimulus and proposing a fourth and stimulus. Yes, there has been an outage on the YouTube member page for community page since Wednesday, so that outage has affected everything. But it's important to understand how this works, because when you see that, you realize, wait a second, I should go get that money right now. When second stimulus was passed, $600 stimulus check, it didn't come initially. So I said, you need to get other money. And that's how Tyrone and his family flew out of Boston. They got $16,000 in December, understanding that the $600 check was not coming, but alleviating all his rent fears because he got $16,000 from December to spring in Boston in December. Then, when third stimulus passed earlier this year, I said, yeah, sure, $1,400 stimulus check. I'm going to get you more than $14,000. Well, now I'm getting viewers $32,000, $50,000 because there's a lot of money under third stimulus. And what Purple Hawks have done so well, and I'm so proud of you, is that you've realized, wait a second, fourth stimulus is going to happen, but it ain't going to send me a check today. It ain't going to send me a check yesterday. But I can get a check this week from SNAP, rent, utilities, food, internet, mortgages. I get all those checks for third stimulus. I need to become a Purple Hawk right now. So consider becoming a Purple Hawk. The link is under the video. And more about that coming up. But let's go into the final 15 minutes of this video, starting right now with the deal of the century. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to the American people. Deal done. And Steny Hoyer, the majority leader on the House, Democrat, has ordered the House members back in session for Monday. Wow. So let's go over why I say deal done for a $3.5 trillion recon package and what that really means for you. A couple of things across the board. First, it's done for purposes of this channel because they all agreed upon this before they started in principle. They agreed upon the price, they agreed upon the committees getting the amounts, and all they have to agree upon is how the committees spend the money. So they agreed upon the price, number one. All the Democrats have agreed to pass the recon, and all the Democrats have agreed that this committee has that amount of money, that committee has that amount of money. And all the recon money is your money. It's checks coming to you, mostly application based. So all that's left is really the recon substantive. How does that committee that get the $10 spend the money? Here's what you need to know is that the first stimulus package was this big, second this big, third this big, fourth is this big. So there's a lot of room to put stimulus checks in there, monthly stimulus checks in there, lots of them. But there's also $3.5 trillion of application-based stimulus in there as well. If you've been with this channel since day one, you've done application-based stimulus. You picked up the phone to get your SNAP benefits increased. You've done PBT. You've got $100 for utilities or $200 for this. You've done unemployment benefits. You've done your PUA or UI. You've done this before, and if you haven't done it, it's easy. That's why I'm here to show you across the board. While we don't have the bill yet, we do have the items that are proposed for that recon, and here we go. Proposed. Free school meals for all checks, tax break check, cheaper prescription medication checks, lots of checks for farmage, checks for free internet. They're going to have lots of free internet across the country. For lots of checks for workers and seniors, checks for workers, checks for independent contractors, checks for unions, checks for seniors, lots of checks for dental, checks for visions, checks for hearing care, and more. I love the Purple Hawks because the Purple Hawks have been sending me messages all week long in private message. How do I apply for this? How do I apply for that? I love that. That is a spirit. That is a spirit. You're ready to pounce. You're not ready to put that hand out and say chocolate or glazed. No, you're ready to pounce and get that money because you hear, you're like, I want that. I qualify for that. I want that. That is the true spirit of the Purple Hawk. Now, let's go back over why I said deal done. Steny Hoyer has ordered his House members back into session this Monday to start voting as early as this Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But what really are they voting on? By all accounts, they're voting on the recon procedural, which is what passed the Senate a week ago. That's just the price tag of the recon and what committee gets what dollar. Well, you know what you're only going to hear on this channel is the analysis of Hoyer's letter. The analysis of Hoyer's letter says, and by the way, get ready to stay in town. You're not leaving. The session will continue thereafter. This is huge for the following reason, is that the Senate is out. The Senate's gone. And Hoyer is saying, you're coming back, House, and you're not leaving. What does that mean for us? That means for us the following analysis, that are they starting the recon substantive on the House side and staying there till the substances is done, and then they're done, and they can go on their break, and they send it over to the Senate, and the Senate comes back and they finish it? Yes, that's what it sounds like. Here's what you need to know, is that the recon procedural went Senate to House. And remember, the Senate was in session, and they finished the recon procedural. The House was not in session. Now the House is coming back into session to finish the recon procedural. And guess what? They're not leaving when they're done with the recon procedural, which is a blink of an eye, like one day. Because, by all accounts, the House is doing the substantive first. We had heard about this over a week ago, before Hoyer's letter. We already knew that the recon is being written by House members in the subcommittees. Yeah, you see this trend? Yeah, you do see it. We're starting in the House subcommittees for writing the legislation. Let's say, for example, House Ways and Means on the Constitution is responsible for stimulus checks and unemployment benefits. They write their 10 pages, they combine with the other 10 pages, they send them up combined as 100 pages from 10 subcommittees, for example. Well, where does it land? Does it land with Chuck or does it land with Nancy? We always thought it was going to land with Chuck. But about a week ago, I started reporting to you that I heard some reports that said maybe they're going to start the recon substantive on the House side. Well, the Hoyer letter says we're staying here. We're coming back to do, next step. And then after we're done with that, we're not leaving until we're done. That sounds like they're going right into recon substantive. which makes sense because they're writing the recon subs in the subcommittees. I love this. Why? Because the House members always spend more money than the Senate Democrats. The House Democrats are more progressives. Progressives spend more money than Senate moderate Democrats. And then I like starting on the House side because if they spend more money, then the senators can add more money on top of it. Across the board, this makes great news. Now, of course, why did I bring back seats for stimulus? Because remember, we got to push and ensure that everyone takes care of us. And ironically, yes, this is helping us as well. Do you see something on that graphic that makes sense? Yeah, the 6 seats that are up for grabs in the next few weeks are not in the Senate, they're in the House. So these House members who are coming back into session really have to do right for us. Otherwise, we're going to take their seats. 6 members of the House are up for grabs in just a few weeks in November. And guess what? They don't give us the right stimulus, they're going to lose their seat. That's what seats for stimulus is. Go on social media and tag your elected officials saying, give us the right stimulus, or we're taking your seats. That is why it's important to understand that when we look at Senate versus House, House versus Senate, a lot of people are promising you those stimulus checks, but they got to deliver. Warren, Sanders, Wyden, AOC, Omar, House Bill from Jolapal and Co., House Ways and Means Committee. They need to deliver what they're promising because otherwise it's seats for stimulus. All right, let's go back to now that Hoyer progress. So saying we're coming back and we're working on this until we're done. This is really fascinating. Now, why is this great news for us as viewers and Purple Hawks? For the following reason. You've been pouncing since day one on this channel, and you're going to be pouncing all the way to the end, but you're not waiting to pounce, and that's why I love the messages of Mark and his neighbor, and Lainey overnight, and also John and Tiffany, who got money just in the last 2 days. I love the messaging that I'm getting. You know what I'm referring to, is that forced stimulus is not landing in our hands today or yesterday or last week. But third stimulus is available right now. And I'm so excited that the Purple Hawks have really laser focused on what we know best, getting money. We've done this before. We did this in December when we were waiting for second stimulus since May. It was not coming. And I said, hey, you need to get some money. And that's why I started a whole series on this channel about getting the big sums of money, what I call purple at the moment, at that time. Rent, utilities, food, and internet. And I love that the Purple Hawks understand, yeah, we're going to push to have those stimulus checks in this forced stimulus recon monthly. We're going to push to the $2,000. We're going to push to make sure you give us the right stimulus and we're going to take your seats. We're going to make sure that we get every penny we can from forced stimulus. But at the moment, if I haven't gotten a penny from third stimulus, or I've gotten 2 of the items but haven't gotten the third, I'm picking up the phone and getting the third. City Hall, City House Authority. County Hall, County House Authority. State Hall, State House Authority. Not 5, not 10, not $20,000 money right now, not 5 weeks from now, not 5 months from now. It's your money to get. I'm very excited for all the big viewers across the board that continue to get the money, and I'm going to look forward to seeing you next as we go into the 3 o'clock afternoon's LA show. If you're watching this currently at 1 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, then you're going to the 3 o'clock. Otherwise, you're going into overnight's crypto right after this. Then at 5 o'clock Eastern Pacific Standard Time is Evenings LA. It's a new show every night. We have a new show every day at 9 a.m. with Mornings LA, 9:45 at Mornings Crypto, 11 a.m. at noontime, and then a new show every day at the 3 o'clock afternoons LA. And then a new show at the 5 o'clock evenings LA. And then we go into our 6 o'clock, our 7 o'clock, our 8 o'clock, our 9 o'clock, and our 11:30 overnight shows as well. And then we go into the new morning next. Hopefully the YouTube alert system will be restored by tomorrow. But in the meantime, I look forward to seeing you all walking down the beach. No, I look forward to seeing you in the next video. So with that, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers to YouTube record. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like this video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and stay here as Overnight's Crypto starts next.